If you want to walk 100 miles across the UK countryside, but have zero interest in sleeping on the ground, you look at the Cotswold Way. It's a 102-mile route stretching from Chipping Campden down to Bath. The journey begins in the historic market town of Chipping Campden, right at the golden stone arches of the market hall. From there, the trail weaves past privately owned estates like Sudeley Castle, taking you right up to immaculately kept formal gardens. You also walk directly over ancient history. This is Bella's Knap, a 5,000-year-old Neolithic burial mound integrated right into the landscape you hike across. The core appeal of this specific trail is its structure. The Cotswold Way is an inn-to-inn walk. That means you can hike a dozen miles over rolling hills, and at the end of the day, you trade a camp stove and a sleeping pad for a hot shower, a pub dinner, and a real mattress. Removing the wilderness survival aspect doesn't mean the difficulty disappears. It just shifts. Instead of managing campcraft, you have to manage financial and logistical orchestration. You're trading the physical toll of carrying your life on your back for the necessity of meticulous, high-budget trip management. Compare a traditional backpacking trip to the Cotswold inn-to-inn reality. A traditional hiker hauls a 40-pound pack and spends roughly 20 pounds a day on food. The inn-to-inn model drops your pack weight to almost nothing, but daily costs frequently hit 200 pounds. The primary driver of that budget is accommodation, costing between 100 and 250 pounds every night. That premium pays for the experience. You aren't staying in basic trail huts. You are booking rooms in 17th-century manors, traditional village B&Bs, and historic working farms. To make this lightweight hiking possible, you have to establish a daily operational cycle. Step 1 is hiring a luggage transfer service. For around 10 pounds a day, a local company will pick up your full-size suitcase and drive it to your next town. Because your main gear is being driven ahead, you preserve your energy by carrying only a small day pack with water, rain gear, and a power bank. Paying this comfort tax saves your joints and back, but it tightly tethers your daily schedule to the transfer company's logistics. You have to reach your booked destination every night, no matter what. That rigid schedule exposes a major hidden variable of the inn-to-inn model, the actual physical location of your bed. This map shows the official trail path, but many of the accommodations are not located directly on the route marked by the Acorn Waymarkers. For example, the George Hotel in Cheltenham is highly rated, but staying there requires a full 3-mile detour off the official path. Tog Hill House Farm is another excellent stop, but reaching it forces a 1.5-mile diversion at the end of the day. The physical consequence is that a planned 10-mile walking day routinely turns into an exhausting 13-mile reality. If that extra mileage becomes too much on top of your daily goal, you will need to budget for the occasional local cab ride to bridge the gap. Mapping the exact off-route distance to your historic bed is just as critical to your trip planning as mapping the trail itself. Once you factor in that extra off-route mileage, the physical toll of a 10-day itinerary comes into focus. Even with luxury accommodations waiting, covering over 100 miles of this terrain is a grueling athletic endeavor requiring months of prior cardio training. This chart shows the elevation profile of the Cotswold Way. You are constantly climbing and descending steep escarpments, like the severe ascent up Stinchcombe Hill. That includes climbs up to Cleeve Hill, the highest point of elevation on the entire route. The payoff for these steep climbs are the close-up views of historic landmarks, like the 121 stone steps of the Tyndale Monument. But the sheer physical challenge of the hills is equally matched by the mental challenge of daily navigation. Cell phone service is highly unreliable across these rural stretches. To avoid getting stranded at a confusing junction, it is an absolute requirement to download offline digital maps to your phone before leaving the Wi-Fi of your B&B each morning. True comfort on this trail requires arriving prepared with the physical endurance for the escarpments and the foolproof digital navigation for the blind spots. Plotting budget versus comfort on the x-axis and wilderness versus culture on the y-axis, the Cotswold Way sits firmly top right. It's ideal for active travelers prioritizing historic architecture and warm beds over remote wilderness or strict shoestring budgets. The final leg of this 102-mile journey rewards your careful planning as the route finally transitions out of the rural fields. You descend directly into the bustling, historic streets of Bath. The official finish line brings you right to the grand doors of Bath Abbey. The Cotswold Way proves you don't have to suffer to complete a 100-mile hike, provided you're willing to pay the price in planning and pounds.